Detectives calling it one of the worst cases of domestic violence they've ever seen. Just days after being tied up, tortured, and beaten for hours by her own husband. Lola Hornof sharing her story with Fox 17 News.
Police say he nearly beat her to death. She sat down with us first at 6 and now tonight. She has a message for the man who beat her and for other victims of domestic violence. Fox 17's Dan Kraut joins us tonight in the studio with more. Dan?
Christian, this is a very difficult story to tell, but Lola Hornof's a strong woman who wanted to share her story with everyone. She's hoping to make a difference. She was just released from the hospital after nearly getting beaten to death. Just 4 days later, she's still recovering from her injuries and says she now has a second chance at life.
I wanted to live. I'm not ready to die.
Lola Hornof says if she would have lost consciousness Sunday afternoon, she's certain her husband would have killed her.
I'm a strong enough person to know that I don't want my kids to have to bury me.
Lola's been married to her husband Robert for 10 years, and they have 5 children together. She says he has mentally and physically abused her in the past, but nothing like this. Her face is unrecognizable. She has bruises across her body, a broken nose, and multiple bruised ribs.
And then he stabbed me in the hand with a knife. And he told me he was cutting my hair off and he was going to cut my fingers off so they couldn't identify me.
Lola says her husband woke up Sunday morning at their Newaygo home and accused her of having an affair, something Lola adamantly denies.
And that was when he started pretty much hitting me with anything and everything he could find.
But police say not before tying up her hands with telephone cord, rope, and shoelaces. The beating lasted for 3 hours until she was thrown in the backseat of the car while her husband drove to his friend's house to confront him about the alleged affair.
I knew if I didn't get out of that car, my kids were not going to have a mom.
She used her bare feet to unlock the door and managed to struggle her way to a gas station a few blocks away, where people inside took her to a back room and called 911.
And everyone at that store is a hero, because sometimes people just don't intervene when somebody needs help.
Lola says her husband has abused her repeatedly over the past 6 years, but says she was a prisoner in her own home. Her husband boarded up all of the windows, had multiple locks on the door, and no neighbors nearby to run to for help.
He had threatened to kill everyone I cared about, people who had helped me in the past. He threatened to kill them and their children.
Her husband, Robert, faces multiple felony charges and, if convicted, could spend the rest of his life in prison. He has not been arraigned yet because he's still in the hospital. He crashed his car into a tree after Lola ran to the gas station for help.
And for what he did, he deserves to get the worst punishment possible. And I know it's a horrible thing to say about another human being, but he tried to kill me, so why should I care?
The couple lost custody of their children after Lola claims her husband abused 2 of them. Now that she's alone, staying at a safe place and getting the counseling she needs, she's hoping to get her children back and hoping her story will help prevent a similar situation from happening to anyone else.
There are a lot of women in the world who are going through similar stuff, and they think, oh, he's just calling me names, oh, he's just being mean. But it can escalate to the point to where they try to kill you or they do kill you.
Lola says she never wants to see or hear from her husband again and hopes the case gets resolved in court. She is now working on repairing her life, and she has a long road ahead of her.
Dan, what a brave lady. She seemed so calm and so strong throughout that whole interview.
She's one of the strongest people I've ever met, and she said that the will of her children is what got her through the event on Sunday.
Dan, we've done stories about Liz's Place and some of the other shelters for battered women. It's important to mention that there are places where they can escape from these
Absolutely,
situations.
and they need help. She needs help right now. She doesn't have any money. She doesn't have a stable place to stay right now. She doesn't even have glasses. They got smashed on Sunday. So there are places to go for help, absolutely.
Brave to get her message out like that.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Sure.